kid you not. The moment I walked in there, I saw his face. I saw how old he was. I saw time. I said, something said, be quiet. I was quiet. I let this man talk for 2 hours. 2 hours he needed to get out everything that he needed to get out.
Y'all, this rumor just refuses to fade away. It's been around for years, sometimes quiet, sometimes loud, but lately, it's back everywhere again. The wild theory says Jay-Z might secretly be the real father of Kelly Rowland's son, Titan. Now, let's be clear right from the jump. Kelly has never come out and directly said anything shocking. She's not out here spilling tea or dropping bombshells. But recently, she did speak on her family, and what she said, and maybe even more importantly, what she didn't say, has people raising eyebrows all over again. Because let's be honest, if something is completely made up, doesn't it usually fade away after a while? This one hasn't. It just keeps resurfacing. Every time Jay-Z and Kelly are spotted together or Titan's name pops up online, fans go back to comparing photos, rewatching old interviews, and analyzing every little glance, hug, or reaction. And here's the part that fuels the whispers. For years, people have pointed out that Titan shares some striking features with Jay-Z. The nose, the smile, even the way he carries himself.
Like, life is enriching me. You know what I mean? Like, through different things, through marriage, through having my son 1 week and losing my mom the next week. So it's just like, it's so many different things that have shaped me, and I'm just going through it, and I can't just keep that kind of stuff to myself. I feel like it's worth sharing, and I want to share it, and I want to be honest, and you know what I mean?
Some fans swear Titan looks more like Jay-Z than Jay-Z's own kids. Of course, people can run wild with little similarities, but in this case, the rumor hasn't just survived, it's grown. And now that Kelly has finally said a few words after staying silent so long, folks are convinced there's more to this story than we've been told. Let's rewind. To really understand how this theory started, you've got to look at just how close Kelly Rowland was to the Knowles family. This wasn't a casual music industry friendship. It was family-level closeness. Kelly was born in Atlanta. Her mom left her dad when she was young and moved her to Houston. That move changed everything. In Houston, Kelly met Beyonce, and their bond was instant. They weren't just friends, they became sisters. Kelly was so close to the Knowles family that she actually moved in with them. Yup, Tina Knowles, Beyonce's mom, didn't just open her home. She raised Kelly like one of her own daughters. Tina has even said that in interviews. And that kind of closeness, it matters. When someone grows up in your house, eats at your dinner table, and is part of your daily life, they're not just your child's best friend anymore. They're family. So from a young age, Kelly wasn't just a friend hanging around. She was right there in the inner circle. Rehearsals, recording sessions, family trips, holidays. She lived that life side by side with Beyonce. Kelly started singing super young, and by the time she joined the early version of Destiny's Child, back then called Girls' Time, she already had stage experience. They even competed on Star Search. They lost at first, got dropped, and had to rebuild. But when Beyonce's dad, Matthew Knowles, stepped in to manage them, things turned around. Soon, Destiny's Child was signed, and after the release of their single, No, 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 they blew up. From then on, Destiny's Child dominated the late 90s and early 2000s. Billboard charts, award shows, endorsement deals, world tours. But even with all that success, let's be real.
I'm having a moment this morning because my son just walks up to me. And why is he this tall? Why? What just happened over summer? How did this even happen?
Beyonce was always the clear star. Labels pushed her more, the media focused on her, and fans saw the dynamic. Kelly wasn't invisible, but she was consistently positioned as the second lead. That stuck with her for years. In fact, she opened up about it in her emotional song Dirty Laundry, admitting she felt jealous and overshadowed, like she was standing in the dark while Beyonce stood in the spotlight. That's tough, especially when your sister is the one everyone sees as untouchable. And when someone feels left behind or like they're constantly in another person's shadow, it can create deep emotions, sometimes even complicated relationships within the group and family circle. And that brings us right back to Jay-Z. When Beyonce got serious with Jay-Z, he naturally became part of that same tight-knit family circle. And since Kelly was already practically a daughter in the Knowles household, Jay and Kelly were often in the same rooms. Birthdays, holidays, private events.
About Destiny's Child, 3 decades. I can't believe we're aging ourselves.
I can't believe it. You think you...
I know. Well, I grew up with it. So you're doing everything. You have every title. Michelle's doing everything.
Yes.
And now I hear you're going to see Beyonce on her tour.
I will be out there.
How was it seeing? Did you check out Blue Ivy when she was
I
at
did.
to see
I'm so proud of her.
That's why this rumor doesn't feel random to fans. It grew because of how close they all were. When people see two people around each other so often, for so many years, it doesn't take much for speculation to start. Then came moments that added fuel. Take Jay-Z at the premiere of The Harder They Fall. Huge night, big red carpet, lots of cameras. At first, Jay walks in cool as ever, not reacting much. But then he spots Kelly, and suddenly his whole demeanor changes. His face lights up, huge smile, wide open arms. He goes from reserved to overly warm in seconds. Now, is that shady? Not necessarily, but it was unusual for Jay-Z, who's usually calm and composed in public. Fans noticed immediately. The video hit social media, and people started asking, what was that? And here's the thing, it wasn't just that one night. Over the years, people have noticed that Jay-Z and Kelly always look unusually comfortable around each other at events. Nothing inappropriate, but there's a noticeable warmth. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. So when people online say Titan might not just be Tim Weatherspoon's son, it doesn't come out of nowhere. It's built on years of little observations, comparisons, and that closeness. Now, Titan is adorable. He's got Kelly's glow, her energy, her smile, but fans can't stop pointing out features they say resemble Jay-Z, especially the nose and mouth. People have gone so far as to make side-by-side photos comparing Titan to Blue Ivy and Jay-Z himself. Some even claim Titan looks more like Jay-Z than his own kids. Wild, right? But once that theory hit the internet, it spread fast, and it still hasn't gone away. Part of the reason? Kelly's husband, Tim Weatherspoon, stays out of the spotlight. He's private, rarely does interviews, and there aren't tons of pictures of him with Titan online. That makes it harder for fans to see the resemblance. And in the absence of proof, rumors grow. Meanwhile, people remember how Jay-Z was quietly there for Kelly during some of her hardest times, like when she lost her mother or when she reunited with her estranged father. Jay was present, not loud about it, just steady support, and that loyalty stood out. Of course, reality check, sometimes kids just coincidentally look like someone else. It happens. Doesn't mean there's a secret affair. Genetics can be weird like that. But when you mix in Jay-Z's history with other paternity rumors, people see patterns. This isn't the first time Jay-Z's name has been dragged into a paternity story. Enter Rymer Satterthwaite, a man from New Jersey who's claimed for over a decade that Jay-Z is his biological father. Rymer and his legal guardians have been trying to get a DNA test for years, but Jay-Z's legal team, they've fought tooth and nail to block it. They've argued technicalities, even saying courts didn't have jurisdiction to force him. Instead of just taking the test and clearing it up, Jay-Z's team shut it down every time. Lawsuits piled up, accusations of bias in the court system, claims that Jay-Z was using his money and fame to keep things hidden. Now, whether or not Reimer is actually Jay-Z's son, we don't know. But what we do know is Jay-Z has never taken that DNA test, and that fact creates a pattern in people's minds. So when fans look at Titan, then remember Reimer's story, suddenly the Kelly rumor doesn't feel so far-fetched anymore. Let's circle back to Kelly. Years ago, she released Dirty Laundry, a song that shocked fans. On the surface, it was about surviving an abusive relationship. Kelly opened up about being emotionally and physically hurt, losing her voice, feeling invisible. But beneath that, some listeners felt there were hidden layers. Kelly admitted in the song that she was jealous of Beyonce's success. She loved her best friend, but she was drowning in her own pain at the same time. Recording that song broke her down. She admitted she cried repeatedly in the studio, unable to get through it in one take. That wasn't just music. That was raw trauma. And for some fans, Dirty Laundry felt like it hinted at even more secrets. Maybe something tied to her inner circle, something she couldn't put into words openly. Could part of that pain have been connected to a relationship that could never be made public? Could it have been a way to release truth without naming names? That's what keeps fans dissecting her lyrics to this day. So what has Kelly actually said about the Jay-Z rumor? Here's where it gets tricky. She hasn't confirmed anything, but she also hasn't flat out denied it. And in the world of celebrity gossip, silence can be loud. When she does talk about family, she praises her husband Tim. She's called him the best father in the world. She shines light on him every chance she gets. If taken at face value, that should end the rumors. But because she's never directly addressed Jay-Z's name, people keep asking questions. One statement like, "That's false," could have shut it all down, but she's never said it. And to be fair, she doesn't owe anyone an explanation. She's private and has always been careful about her image. But the silence leaves the door cracked open. And in the internet age, even a crack is enough to fuel endless speculation. At the end of the day, here's the reality. We may never know the full truth. Maybe this is just fans overanalyzing Titan's features and old photos. Maybe Kelly and Jay-Z's closeness has always been nothing more than family-level love and respect. Or maybe, just maybe, there's more to the story than anyone is ready to admit. But what we do know is this: the rumor won't die. And every time Kelly speaks carefully, avoids denial, or Jay-Z sidesteps DNA rumors, the internet adds another layer to the conspiracy. So now the question is for y'all. Do you believe this is just the internet doing what it always does, spinning wild fanfiction? Or is there a hidden truth that's never been revealed? This story keeps circling back, and the silence only makes people more curious. Do you think it's just gossip, or is there truth hiding behind the rumors? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button, and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories everyone's talking about.